Hello, welcome to US News. Today I will take you to Chuck Barris dead at 87. Chuck Barris, host of the Gong Show who wildly claimed to be a CIA assassin, dead at 87. From his boundary-pushing game shows to his strange claims of being a CIA assassin, Chuck Barris lived large. The host of the Gong Show and the creative force behind the dating game, the Newlywed Game and many other game shows died Tuesday at 87 in Palisades, New York, his publicist announced. Barris loaded 60s and 70s television with game shows, and later made waves when in an autobiography he claimed to be an assassin for the CIA, which the agency flatly denied. This book was adapted into a feature film, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. Barris began his career as a songwriter. His biggest hit was Palisades Park for Freddy Boom Boom Cannon in 1962, but he truly burst into show business in 1965 with the debut of his brainchild The Dating Game, an updated, televised version of a World War II radio show titled Blind Date, The Washington Post reported in 1965. Hosted by Jim Lang, the show's premise was simple. A divider separated three men from a woman. Without being able to see the eligible bachelors, she would ask each a few questions. At the end of the show, she chose her date based solely on their answers. Sometimes a man asked three women questions. It ran for 11 of the next 15 years, during which young celebrities such as Farrah Fawcett, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Michael Jackson and Suzanne Summers appeared as contestants. One of the show's primary draws was the sexual innuendo that often cropped up in the dialogue. The phrase "make whoopee" was commonplace. In one exchange, for example, Schwarzenegger mentioned he was new to the United States and didn't understand some phrases, specifically hanky-panky. A blushing female contestant asked if understood playing around. Playing around with what? Schwarzenegger knowingly responded with a smile, to which the blushing woman said, "My goodness. We might have to take a little time with you." The show's impact can still be felt in dating shows like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Fueled by its success, Barris created several more of the genre we now call reality shows, most ending in the word game. Among them were the Newlywed Game, the Parent Game, the Family Game and the Game Game. Everything was dealing with people, and no right and wrong answers, and no scripts, Barris told the AV Club. The shows performed well, but critics often derided Barris, giving him nicknames like the King of Schlock, the Baron of Bad Taste and the Ayatollah of Trashrolla. That didn't slow his output. At one point his televised concoctions accounted for 27 hours of network time each week, according to the Associated Press. Which is ironic, considering Barris told the AV Club, "I don't particularly like game shows." From 1976 to 1980, he became not just a household name but a recognizable face as the host of his magnum opus of lowbrow entertainment, The Gong Show. It was ostensibly a talent show, but Barris was careful to often invite guests who lacked any discernible talents. When a guest proved inept, Barris would strike an enormous gong. Meanwhile, he and a panel of judges, which often included such David Letterman, Jamie Farr, J.P. Morgan and Phyllis Diller, lobbed insults at them. It, too, pushed boundaries. One act, which called itself Have You Got a Nickel, simply featured two young girls sitting cross-legged on the studio floor and suggestively slurping on ice pops. Both the show and Barris's hosting style were manic to the point that some accused him of substance abuse. "I was never on drugs, but everybody thought I was," Barris said in an interview with the Archive of American Television. "When they saw the Gong Show, and I would come out, they all thought I was whacked out of my mind. But I never did drugs. I had a public company. Barris's most outlandish moment, though, came in 1982 when he wrote an autobiography announcing he had served as a contract CIA assassin during his time working in television. By that year, his shows had all begun to wind down. The Gong Show movie, which he directed and starred in, only stayed in theaters for 1 week, the Associated Press reported. He was infuriated. Critics had harassed me for 15 years saying that I'd lowered the bar of civilization, Barris told the AV Club. I couldn't deal with this anger, and I had to get it out of my system. So I found a hotel that had monthly rates. I thought I'd take about a month before I went back to California, and I would write it out. He emerged with Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, an authorized biography, which was made into a 2002 film directed by George Clooney and written by Charlie Kaufman. In it, he claimed his trips to foreign destinations, supposedly to scout locations to send his game show victors, were merely a cover for him to assassinate CIA targets. A CIA spokesman flatly denied the claim. It sounds like he has been standing too close to the gong all those years, said then CIA spokesman Tom Crispell. Chuck Barris has never been employed by the CIA, and the allegation that he was a hired assassin is absurd. Though asked many times over the years if it was true, Barris told the Los Angeles Times, "I'll never answer that question." Times Joel Stein, who seemed to believe the book to be fiction, wrote, Barris wrote the book partly because he's a huckster. He faked a resume for NBC, peddled game shows even though he didn't like them, and God knows what he has told his 3 wives. But he also fabricated his life because it might have been the best way of getting at the truth. The truth was that back when he was the Jerry Springer of his day, he couldn't stomach being attacked for doing something he considered harmless. Many point to Barris's television output as a precursor to today's reality landscape with shows like America's Got Talent and American Idol. I think anything would have been possible without my shows, Barris told AV Club. I think the dating game and the Newlywed Game began the momentum for what eventually became Fear Factor, The Jerry Springer Show, Joe Millionaire, and so on. Added Barris, but if I wasn't there, somebody else would have been. More from Morning Mix. I'd gone over an edge. Mary Tyler Moore shared her joy but also her deep lifelong pain. Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, pop's most sacred text, almost went unheard by the masses. Agnes Nixon, creator of All My Children, who quietly made soaps relevant, dead at 93. Barris was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the son of Edith Cohen and Nathaniel Barris, a dentist. 23, he attended Drexel Institute of Technology where he was a columnist for the student newspaper, The Triangle. He graduated in 1953. Barris got his start in television as a page and later staffer at NBC in New York City, and eventually worked backstage at the television music show American Bandstand, then filmed in Philadelphia, originally as a standards and practices person for ABC. Barris soon became a music industry figure. He produced pop music on records and television, but his most successful venture was writing Palisades Park. Recorded by Freddy Cannon, it peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 2 weeks, June 23–30, 1962, the biggest hit of Cannon's career. 4. Barris also wrote or co-wrote some of the music that appeared on his game shows. Citation needed. Barris was promoted to the daytime programming division at ABC in Los Angeles and was put in charge of deciding which game shows ABC would air. Barris told his bosses that the producer/packagers' pitches of game show concepts were worse than Barris' own ideas. They suggested that he quit his ABC programming job and become a producer. Citation needed. Barris formed his production company Chuck Barris Productions on June 14, 1965. 5. Barris became successful during 1965 with his first game show creation, The Dating Game, on ABC. On this show, which was hosted by Jim Lang, 3 bachelors or bachelorettes competed for the favor of a contestant of the opposite sex blocked from their view. The contestants' sexy banter and its flower power motif studio set were a revolution for the game show genre. The show would air for 11 of the next 15 years and be revived twice in the 1980s and 1990s. Citation needed. The next year Barris began the Newlywed Game, originally created by Nick Nicholson and E. Roger Muir, also for ABC. The combination of the newlywed couple's humorous candor and host Bob Eubanks's sly questioning made the show another hit for Barris. Citation needed. The show is the longest lasting of any developed by his company, running for a total of 19 full years on First Run TV, network and syndicated. Game Show Network airs a current version with Sherry Shepherd. Interviewed on the NPR program Wait Wait. Don't Tell Me. On August 1, 2009, Barris said that the Newlywed Game was the easiest program he had developed. All I needed was 4 couples, 8 questions, and a washer-dryer. 6. Barris created several other short-lived game shows for ABC in the 1960s and for syndication in the 1970s, all of which revolved around a common theme. The gameplay normally derived its interest, and often, humor, from the excitement, vulnerability, embarrassment, or anger of the contestants or participants in the game. Citation needed. Barris also made several attempts through the years at non-game formats, such as ABC's Operation Entertainment, a variety show staged at military bases akin to USO shows, a CBS revival of Your Hit Parade, and The Bobby Vinton Show, a Canadian-based syndicated variety show for singer Bobby Vinton, produced in conjunction with Chris Beard and Alan Bly. The last was his most successful program other than a game show. Citation needed. Many thanks for watching our channel video. If you see or click the subscribe button and share to support yourself offline. Thank you and see you in the next newsletter. Bye bye.